quick preview to the Spurs away game. We've just recently come off the back of a 1-0 home game to Everton. Spurs have just been beat by Man U 2-0. Was that at Old Trafford, that one?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So we're going to start off by looking at the last fixtures we've had against Spurs. And I brought up the head-to-heads, and all time it says we've played 54 times. They've had 24 wins, we've had 22 wins. So that's pretty even, to be fair. But looking over the most recent results, we got spanked 5-1 last game at their place. They beat us at our place 3-2 the time before that, and then the time before that was a 2-2 draw at home. So it's not great reading.
You've got to think about the fucking diabolical team we had and the diabolical managers we've had. And you've got to take that into effect. Like, yeah,
it
wasn't long after he'd taken over and stuff like that. So,
to be fair, I think that was the worst performance we had since he took over. We went 1-0 up and then absolutely capitulated.
Yeah,
2-1 down by half time, I think, and then absolutely fell apart the second half. So I think we've come a long way since then, though. So I can't say it being a repeat performance, even though obviously historically we haven't done very well against Spurs.
Well, in their last game against Man U, they were not very. We obviously play aggressive football, attacking football. We played that against Man United, and I think I had a stat up here in the game. Man United had 28 shots. Okay, they had 10 on target, but they had 28 shots. They had Man United had nowhere near that when they played us, which can only bode well for us because we let play attacking football. Didn't think so. If Man United play attacking football and go at them like that, there's absolutely no reason we can't this season. No reason. We're a complete changed team to last season. There's no reason why we can't take the game to them and get a result here. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know how much of Spurs you guys watched this season, but it does look like Conte's really put a stamp on that team now. And from what I've seen, they're playing like really boring football.
Yeah.
I know that they've got like Kulusevski out and
Kulusevski out.
He might be back for our game. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I think it's going to be a total contrast to earlier in the year when we played them. And I can't see us shipping a lot of goals. We've got the best defensive record in the league now. We'll come on to predictions later, but I can't see us conceding a lot. My worry is, are we going to create a lot? Because we went from 9 goals in 2 games to then 1 goal in 2 games. And obviously we're away from home, so...
Yeah, it depends on how Eddie wants to set up again. If he's going to follow that same approach that he has done in recent away games in the Man U game especially. I mean, we have been fairly aggressive, like Pete was saying, and I would like to see us carry that on. I know the Fulham game where away from home, we were helped obviously early on with their sending off, so that opened up the game a lot more for us to, end up scoring the 4 goals we did. I don't expect Spurs to give us any favours like that and getting men sent off early on in the game, but I would like to see us take the game to them. I know they've had troubles down their right side and rotating the right wing backs quite a lot. So there's potential there that we can, utilise that and try and get in behind and cause some problems there. I think Botman as well will he'd be right up for the opportunity of coming up against Harry Kane. He seems like a player who loves to come into the against the big teams and the big names and really put a stamp on things. So yeah, I'd be interested to see how and hopefully nullifies any threat from Kane.
Yeah, I think they're your two main dangers on the Harry Kane and Son. If you get them under wraps, you get tight on them. You could take majority of the danger away. Don't get us wrong. They've obviously got fantastic players. Benton, Kirkley, Kulusevski's still injured.
I don't know. He was last. I don't know if did he play against Man U?
I don't think
I saw the game before.
No,
and
right, so he's still injured,
which
is obviously a plus. But you have got a team full of cracking players.
Richarlison's there now, don't he?
Yes, Richarlison's
he's also injured.
I was just about to say, didn't he get injured as well? Yeah. So this is it's a prime time this night. As long as we can put a lid on Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, then they're for the taking, really. I mean, even so, I don't know. I don't rave about Harry Kane as much as a lot of other people.
He's scored a lot of penalties recently.
He just scores pens, doesn't he? But he can score. Don't get me wrong, he scored a goal, but it seems it's got to be on a plate. But if we can,
I swear he's got almost as many goals as games this season.
Well, he probably has, but it's just me being cynical.
I think it's his best ever start.
I keep saying it all the time. He is scoring, but I don't know. I think it's because he's just a poacher and a pen taker. But I think it's just me whining, really. Obviously, stats will put me in place, no doubt. But
he's getting overshadowed a bit, isn't he, by Haaland now coming into the league?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Taken away.
Probably Kane scores, you go, Kane scored. If Haaland scored, he's like, fuck, Haaland scored again. But like I say, if we put a lid on them two, we've got the best defence in the league. So there's no reason why we can't put a lid on them two. But I do agree with Sam on this. I don't think there's going to be loads of goals scored here. I think it's going to be quite tight.
Yeah, I don't think they're particularly scoring a lot of goals anyway. I mean, they got beat by Man U 2-0, so obviously didn't score. They beat Everton 2-0. Before that, they beat Brighton 1-0, and then they got beat by Arsenal 3-1. So they're not, in the form, they're not scoring a lot of goals themselves. And we've got the best defence so far this season. So you'd like to think we've got a good chance of keeping a clean sheet. And obviously, if you do that away from home, you're laughing at me, don't?
Yeah, well, they play five at the back pretty much every game. So I can't see that changing even at home to Newcastle. I think where the battle will be won is in the centre of midfield. It'll be interesting to see whether he plays a 2 or 3 in there. I know against Man U he put Højbjerg and what was it? Højbjerg, Bentancur and what's the third centre mid that they've got? Like the two defensive mids and Bentancur in there just to hold them, try and hold them up really.
Suma.
That's it. So Basuma hasn't really been getting too much of a look in because when both Richarlison and Kulusevski's been fit, they've been playing 3 across the front line. So it'll be interesting to see if they'll drop a third man in again to try and keep a hold, because it's obvious Eddie Howe's going to play the same way no matter who he's against. He's going to play that high intensity pressing game, and he's going to play the 3 in the middle. So if they're going to go Kane and Son up front, or if Kulusevski is back, if they're going to hire 3 up there at home and try and come out with, it'll be interesting to see how they do set up on Sunday.
Yeah, I think from our side of things, well, I mean, we might as well get into what we think Eddie Howe's going to do with the lineup. But you've mentioned, Paige, that you think they can be get at on their right or left. So there's a question: who starts on the left hand side? Because Murphy didn't have the best game against Everton, but he was doing pretty well before that. We've got questions on centre mids because Jordan came off injured. Is he going to be fit? And then there's always the debate at the minute between the left backs as well. So
yeah, for me, it comes down to availability of Maxi, which looks unlikely again for this game against Spurs. So I don't expect we'll see Maxi for this game, and not many other options at the minute that we can throw in. So I'd probably likely see Murphy start again on that side, just for the fact that there isn't anybody else that I think Eddie would choose to start. I don't think he would start Anderson. It would be brave, and I'd love to see it, but I don't think that's going to happen. And yeah, it would be a real shame if we can't get at them because Murphy carries on the form from just this game against Everton. But yeah, it's got to see how well the players are fitness wise from having a 90-minute game on a Wednesday and expected to play again on the Sunday. Hopefully, the fitness wise, some of the other key players are able to start. But yeah, it's a big open question for me on that left side for sure.
Yeah, you know what? I would absolutely love to see the Jordi Maradona start on left wing. We've only seen flashes of him so far, and he's looked like he's like ready. Like I haven't seen him play much outside the minutes that he has for Newcastle, but I want to see him being given a start and just see what he can do. He'll be against Matt Doherty. He's not a great player. He's had a good few decent games, but I really want to see Elliot Anderson start, especially on the back of Murphy having a pretty poor game with both attacking 48-year-old Seamus Coleman. His passing was shocking as well. I didn't think he'd done enough. I don't think he influenced the game enough when we had so much of the ball in the first half. I would give Elliot Anderson a chance. I really would.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, I'd be dying for Elliot Anderson. I'd play Elliot Anderson over Jacob Murphy any day of the week. He's so much more aggressive. He's stronger. He's got better feet. His awareness is better. I would actually just, I want to say throw him in at the deep end, but when he came on, made differences and played well. So to be honest, I think it would be like don't offer Waters back. Don't offer Waters back. Water off the duck's back. You don't need to realise that either. Because he'd grasp it with both hands and he'd get on with it, and I think he'd have a brilliant game. I want to see him start 100%.
You'll hand it with both grasps.
Yeah,
you just got that, haven't you?
Yeah.
I tend to agree with that, to be honest. I'm not mega keen on either Fraser or Murphy on the left hand side. So yeah, I'd agree. Elliot Anderson comes in. What do we do with the centre mids? Because let's just assume they're all going to be fit for the game. Willock came on. We were just talking in the last part about his driving runs. Longstaff's been in there the last 4 games, I think. Bruno's obviously going to be starting. And Shelby's back he's back on the bench, whether he's in contention or not. So, Dawes, who do you see lining up in the centre of the park for us on Sunday?
I think we'll probably start with the same 3 that started last night against Everton. I think having the physicality of Joe Linton in there will be positive away from home when we quite could be under a lot of pressure. He breaks up the play, he drives the ball out of defence. I think we could do with having that extra man alongside Longstaff just to break up the play and drive it forward. And Willock also had a good game coming off the bench, but I think he could be seen as more of an impact player on the weekend. Maybe if we're chasing the game or if we're looking to nick a goal or some fresher legs like we did last night. I think we'll go with the same 3.
Yeah, I think for me the one I might be tempted to change would be Longstaff, but I think you're right. I think Eddie will probably stick with the same three that started. And then what do we think we're going to do with the defence? Because Shaw's been getting a hammering like he always does, but he seemed to pick up a hammy injury against Everton.
He looked like he stretched for the ball, didn't he? When he just twinged it a little bit. He played on, finished the game, but
he went on a drive and run up the right afterwards, didn't he?
You could, well, exactly. You could well see yourselves coming in for him, or you play Burn and Botman, but two-footed centre halves, aren't they? So it's a tricky one. I think it's a tricky one. I don't know. We'll see. I think probably Shaw. If Shaw finished the game and ran on, you have a little bit of treatment. I think he'll probably start.
Yeah, I think if fit, Eddie Howe will start seeing back four.
Yeah.
And the one thing I picked up on Nick Pope, I think it was in the Man U game. He gets a lot of praise for being like quick off his line. There was a couple of occasions in the Man U game that he got kind of caught in no man's land. But then in the Everton game, he was back solid. And the reason I want to pick up on the keeper situation is obviously, are we going to see any switches there to keep it fresh? Or do you think this Karius who's come in, we'll only ever see him in a cup game if Nick Pope's fit?
It's an interesting one. I think we'll see how. We're obviously assuming here that Pope's going to be taken with England to the World Cup. Obviously, hope that all goes well for Pope out there if he does go, and perhaps Karius might, come in a little bit for the games just after the World Cup, potentially if Pope's been used at all by England during that, or was just generally tired from the from all of the travelling for that. But yeah, I think you would more likely see him used in the cups, but then I would still like us to really go for the cups this year as well, and I think having Pope there is the number one to those cup games will be vital as well. But yeah, I think Karius might just be there just to help make up the numbers.
Yeah, because I think Carl Darlow's coming back with fitness as well, isn't he? Is he only contracted till January at the minute as well?
Yeah.
I think there's an option.
Yeah, short term.
Right, well, let's go ahead and make some predictions for this game. I'll go first. I think we could see another 0-0. Which at this moment in time, again, I would take it. It's a team above us in the league, going away to them, take a point, take a clean sheet. But hopefully we can nick a goal towards the end of the game. But I feel like it's going to be a low score, and it's going to be like both teams will be leggy. So I'm going to predict 0-0. Beji?
I'm going to go one better and say 1-0 to the tune. I think there's a chance. We've done it in the last couple of years. Got to go back to Joe Linton scoring the winner in the first game at the Tottenham Stadium for Tottenham. Maybe we have a little bit of magic again, like that day. But I do agree that defensively will be solid, and just hope that a little chance opens up for one of the strikers to maybe Almiron keeps his run going, hopefully.
I'm going to go 1-1. I think it's going to be tight again. But I think we'll scrape a 1-1, which you'll take all day.
Yeah, I would say 1-1 as well, to be honest. You've got to remember that Spurs have got a big crunch game midweek against Sport Lisbon in the Champions League. So even if Kulusevski is back, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to start. I'd be surprised if he started, to be honest. So yeah, I think they'll have one eye on midweek, and I think we'll get at least a goal. Yeah, I'm going with 1-1 as well.
Well, nobody's predicting a Spurs win, so that's always a positive.
That's good news, isn't it?
Got the longest
Anything else before we wrap up, lads? No? All right then.
No next one yet. No, I think we're all good.
Remember when Eddie Howe was coming in and we got told that his teams couldn't defend? Look at we now, Simon Jordan.
Brilliant that. Yeah, brilliant that. He knows how to get rid of you.
We've got to concede a hatful now.
Humble pie.
No, Eddie's marks. We're all on.
We're all on, and that's it for today's show, guys. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, follow us on social media, and we'll catch you in the next one.